goes happening, everybody? It's your boy Ferris Muthana. Welcome to another great edition of Good Friends, Better Rivals. This week we'll be talking about big news coming out of Giants camp and that Monday night mayhem, that massacre, that beat down by Houston on the Dallas Cowboys. But that's not the big news coming out of this week with our teams. Big news. It was the big news. Then there was bigger news. Big news. Daniel Jones was benched 2 days ago.
That's not really big news. That's like that was bound to happen. Like,
well, people thought that was going to happen for the past 2.5 years. So when it finally happened, it shocked everybody. So boom, he gets benched, and
I was not shocked.
The QB they chose is what shocked a lot of people. They chose to start. They're going forward this season with none other than Tommy DeVito. Tommy DeVito will be Tommy Paisan. Tommy DeVito will be the starting quarterback for the rest of the season. Well, if he gets injured.
I mean, that's a little bit of a stretch to say for the rest of the season.
Dude, it's only 6 games. 7 games.
7 games left.
Yeah.
We'll see.
He could be.
There's a good chance Drew Lock comes in for a couple games.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. So it's DeVito's QB1, possibly Drew Lock will show up. That was the big news, or the news. But then today we have bigger news. Daniel Jones has been released.
It's about goddamn time.
The Daniel Jones era in New York as a New York Giants is over. With 6 long years, it's done. It's done.
It's a shame.
Not really. It is what it is.
It is. I like the Daniel Jones New York Giants. They were terrible, and it gave
that's
me
because
happiness.
he never beat Dallas.
Yeah, it was a great era.
Yeah, he beat Dallas once.
Once without Dak.
Yeah, it was the year we broke Dak's ankle.
Yeah,
we lost that game, by the way, too, which was kind of crazy.
Mm-hmm.
We lost to Andy Dalton 34-33, but that's not the point I'm trying to make here. So it's over. Daniel Jones, his career is over. It's been a lot of extremes with Daniel Jones, right? Some people are like, good riddance. He's, despicable, trash, blah, 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 blah. All that stuff. And then you have other people being like, oh no, we failed Daniel Jones. We didn't give him, oh my God, he was a great person. Yeah, that's fine and all. We all know he's a good person. Yeah, fine, that's cool. He's a good person, that's fine. But he was not a very good football player. Just not happening. It wasn't very good. Most QBs, when they get cut, unless you're like Peyton Manning, you're not, you don't get a press conference. You don't get that. They actually treated him with more respect than most organizations treat football players. When they cut you or bench you, they don't care. They just keep it moving. But they treated Daniel Jones with some respect, in a sense. They keep saying, like, oh, his benching was mishandled. Not really.
How's it mishandled? He sucked. You bench players that suck.
Exactly.
I mean, what is there to mishandle?
Exactly. And people start talking like, oh, they made him play scout team safety. He just stood in the safety position. Most third string scout team players, that's what they do. They wear the red jersey. They tell you to stand in the position so they know they can do position, and they keep moving. They didn't disrespect him. They knew his era's over. So people are like, oh, they should have made him QB2. But it's over.
What?
Exactly, it's over.
You don't want to put him back in.
Exactly.
I said that's on Wednesday. It's like they just don't want him there. Like they want him to go home. They want to buy. They don't want him in the facility, and that's why they came to this release. They just do not want him on the team.
And then you have players like Dexter Lawrence saying man it's my guy come on man I understand that, man, but you should know it like everybody know it, man. It's a business. If you're not producing, you're losing and you get benched. any other position on a team, in a football team, if you're not playing good, you know what happens? You get benched. That's what happens.
Unless you're Deshaun Watson.
Yeah. Yeah, that one I don't know. Deshaun Watson,
they didn't bench him. Like
they didn't bench him.
Took an injury to get him out of there.
Exactly, man. Like, see, they were worse than us. But it is what it is. But my thing is, this man is it's we're moving on. Who cares? I don't care no more. Here's the thing. He got drafted, right? He got drafted. I didn't really know nothing about him coming out of Duke. I didn't. So I said, like any other team says, let's see what he got. I'm not gonna write this kid off yet. He could shock me. It happens all the time. So I'm just gonna, let it play out. Okay? Just gonna let it play out. He had a fine rookie season. It was fine for a rookie. It was fine.
You guys lost a bunch of games.
Yeah, but most rookie season that happens a lot. It was fine though.
Season.
Yeah, let's calm it down here, man. All right, that's because he walked into
Jack won 13 games. I don't know.
Well, it was a ready-made team. He wasn't supposed to start. It was Joe. I was about to say Joe Romo. It was Tony Romo that was going to play. All right, let's calm it down here.
I'm just saying. I mean, you said rookies don't win games. I mean,
well, the Giants were the Giants were a very bad team. That's why they were picking sixth.
CJ Stroud won a lot of games last year.
Okay, the game has changed, man. Okay, talking about 2019. The game has changed.
I just told you a quarterback that did it before 2019. The quarterback that
QB wasn't supposed to play anyway. So
it doesn't matter. He was a rookie quarterback and he won 13 games. CJ Stroud just won a bunch of games last year. What are you talking about?
Well, 9 times out of 10, the rookie year is kind of thrown away.
Well, it wasn't 9 times out of 10 because I just gave you two.
8 out of 10. There it is. You want to play this game with me?
Yeah.
Because you know what I meant, and you're purposely misconstruing what I meant. You do know what I mean. So stop being stupid. You know what I fucking mean. You know what I fucking mean.
I have no idea what you mean.
Don't play me, dog. You know what I mean.
I have no idea.
Don't play stupid. All right. I know you look stupid, but you're not stupid. Okay. You know what I meant.
What you mean?
You know what I meant.
I don't know what you mean.
Don't play me. Don't do it. You're playing me right now.
I don't know what you mean.
Okay. Doesn't matter.
Lamar win a bunch of games in his rookie year too?
Yes, because after they benched Joe Flacco.
Okay, he still won a lot of games, right?
Well, he got injured, Joe Flacco. I think Joe Flacco got injured.
Yeah, he did. Well, they still replaced him. He started winning games.
Yeah, but they were already a good team in the first place. So I'm telling you.
No, they weren't.
Yes, they were. The Ravens were.
No, they weren't. They were
yes,
kind of mediocre at that time.
They were pretty. They made the playoffs.
They made the playoffs because Lamar started winning.
No, I'm talking about the year prior. Didn't they make the playoffs?
No, they were a mediocre team.
And why the hell were they picking 25th? And they drafted Hayden Hurst.
I don't know.
Isn't that playoff team positionings in the draft?
Yeah, but they were still a mediocre team for like a long time.
Okay, all right, fine. I wasn't gonna write them off after the first season. Okay, I was waiting for that second, jump, and it never happened.
Well, I don't understand why. You gotta show more than what you showed in the rookie season.
Yeah, exactly, and it never happened, so he was never good. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Because they ended up firing Pat Shurmur and hiring Joe Judge and Jason Garrett, and those 2 years they destroyed him. Because I remember when he came in against Tampa Bay, that his debut when he came in for Eli Manning, because Eli Manning was taken out of the game against Tampa Bay. That Daniel Jones ceased to exist under Joe Judge. Then after Joe Judge, that Daniel Jones never ever showed up again. Because if you watch the Tampa Bay game, his debut, where he wins the game, he leads a game-winning drive, and he's throwing deep balls. He's running. He's being aggressive. He's processing fast. That Daniel Jones showed up for that debut and never again. And then it is what it is. We're moving on. We need a top pick. There are 2 quarterbacks we can get.
But who are you moving on to?
It's 2 QBs. Well, 3. I'm saying 3. Possibly 3. You got Cam Ward out of Miami. Jalen Milroe out of Alabama, and Shedeur Sanders out of Colorado. It's one of them. That's why you need a top 3 pick. Okay? That's what you need. We are the 3rd pick in the draft right now. And Tennessee and Jacksonville are 1 and 2, and they play each other. So if we lose out, there's a possibility we may get
we play you guys on Thanksgiving.
Oh God. Yeah, but you're not going to draft a QB.
That's true. But I mean, someone else could. But you could win, and then someone else takes your spot.
That's the problem. See right there. That's the problem. Right. Let me double check Tankathon. The NFL. Sorry, NFL. All right, the NFL draft order right here. We're 3rd behind Jacksonville and Tennessee, in front of Vegas, New England. Dallas is at 9, dude.
Yeah, I'm not saying we'll take your spot. I'm just saying you're just very capable of beating us right now.
Yeah, it's true. That is true. We need to lose. That's what we need to lose. The mocks are saying we're taking Cam Ward. That's what the mocks are saying. If we stay at 3. Because, it is what it is. Ryan, it's not a player problem. It's a whole organization problem in New York. Yeah, I agree with you. Shout out to Leo. How you doing, Leo? Says, hey, guys. How you doing, Leo? I agree, man. The Giants organization is just fundamentally broken. Someone tweeted out something that David Gettleman was such a bad GM. He was so bad that we don't know what a good GM is, and we're giving excuses to Joe Schoen. And I think that person, I don't remember who tweeted that, but that person's right, because Joe Schoen has missed a lot. Bad evaluations in the draft. His first draft, basically half the draft isn't working.
I mean, it's not even that. It's not even the drafts. It's just purely the dumb decision to not franchise Daniel Jones and to sign Saquon Barkley for a long-term deal. I mean, that's the biggest dumb decision that he made.
And here's the thing. The reason people think it's a dumb decision, it's pretty simple why. It's not that they didn't re-sign Saquon Barkley. It's that they didn't re-sign Saquon Barkley and then they gave Daniel Jones the money. If they got rid of both of them, this wouldn't be that big of a conversation.
That would have been fair.
That would have been fair, right? Because people don't, here's the thing too. People don't talk about what Cincinnati did. They didn't re-sign Joe Mixon. People aren't lambasting them, right? They're not lambasting them. It's like,
quarterback.
Yeah, exactly. They got people like, oh, they got Joe Burrow, so we're fine. But look at them. Are they fine?
No, they're not fine.
You know what I mean? So was Joe Mixon the secret sauce? Maybe not. I don't know. If the thing is, it's not that you got rid of Saquon. It's that you got rid of Saquon and you kept Daniel. If you got rid of both of them or kept Saquon, none of this would be a problem. Or like you said, sign Saquon, franchise Daniel. Like franchise him like they did Kirk Cousins. What did Washington do to Kirk Cousins? They tried to give him a deal. He said, I don't want that deal. And they're like, cool, we'll franchise tag you because we know what you are. We know what you are. And then year after year, they kept franchising him. And then one year, they're like, that's too much money. We're letting you go. Then he went to Minnesota. You're right. And I'm starting to I keep giving Joe Schoen benefit of the doubt because I'm like, oh, John Mara probably, intervened. Maybe he intervened. Did he? I don't know. There hasn't been any evidence that John intervened. There's no evidence of it. So you made that decision as a GM to give him that contract. And you know what? I when I saw that contract, I was told there's an out after 2 years. I was like, oh, that's good. If he's not good in 2 years, we can get, but it's still a bad contract. I was wrong. I thought it was because of the out, it was a good contract. But I was wrong. Because you still gave $80 million to the guy. $80 million for 3 wins. That's what you did. It was a bad contract. Either it's Joe Schoen's fault or John's fault. But I haven't seen any evidence that John meddled. We're assuming he meddled because that's what he does all the time. He's a meddler. We're assuming that. But if Joe Schoen had conviction to tell John, I'm not re-signing Saquon, he tells him, I'm not re-signing Saquon. I gave him his deal. He didn't want to accept the deal. I'm not going over the deal. He tells John, like we can see it on Hard Knocks. That's what he basically tells John. He's like, John, bro, the deal, he knows the deal. He didn't want to accept the deal. You're not going to tell me that Joe Schoen had the backbone to do that to Saquon and John Mara, and he didn't have the backbone to tell John Mara, no, I don't want to re-sign Daniel Jones. Either he has the backbone or he doesn't have the backbone. It's one or the other. So he has the backbone to tell the running back no, but he has no backbone to stop John Mara from meddling, because John wanted to keep Saquon. You can clearly see he wanted to keep Saquon because he knew Saquon was going to go to Philly. And one thing about this man, you know, like we talk about rivalries in the NFL all the time. The NFC East, it's a quad, it's just a square of hatred. It's just a square of hatred, right? Like in other divisions, certain teams hate each other more than they hate other teams.
Yeah, you just don't like them because they're in your division.
Yeah. But this division makes no sense, Caleb. You have the New York, Philly, Washington, and you have Dallas. Why the hell is this division even real? Dallas in the South. It's because
we used to have Arizona, so.
Huh?
We used to have Arizona.
We also used to have Arizona, exactly. But we didn't really care about Arizona. Because the reason they kept this division intact, Caleb, is that these hatreds and this rivalry runs deep. The four of us. A minimum, well, Philly only has one World Super Bowl, but the other three have a minimum of 3 Super Bowls each.
That's why we hate them so much, because they talk like they had more.
Exactly. We are the division with the most Super Bowls. We are the division with the most Super Bowls. We are when we're great, the NFL's great. Because you have 4 of the biggest fan bases in the NFL.
Yeah.
All talking, all chirping, all talking shit, buying tickets, buying merch, going to games, selling it out. We make the NFL money. This division needs to be, you know what I mean? Well, the NFL already makes money, but they'll make more money if we're all good. So he doesn't want Saquon to go to Philly. We hate Philly. Philly hates us. We hate Dallas. Dallas hates us. Dallas hates Philly. Philly hates Dallas. We all hate Washington. Washington hates all of us. You don't want that to happen. You think Washington was okay with Antonio Pierce becoming a Giant? You think they were okay with that? No, they weren't. You know? Imagine if CeeDee Lamb became a New York Giant, Caleb. Imagine.
I don't want to imagine.
Well, yeah, you don't want to imagine.
No.
Now, imagine he became a Washington Commander.
Oh, that's just even uglier.
Exactly.
Uglier uniform.
He goes to Philly.
That's the worst.
It's the worst.
That's the worst.
Because they're so annoying. I hate them. It's whatever. So you don't tell me. So he knows that. So you don't think he's gonna meddle? So, but you had the backbone to stop his meddling for Saquon, but you don't have the backbone to stop his meddling for Daniel Jones's contract. That's how I know Joe Schoen gave him that contract. You're not gonna play me, man. Because I keep running my mind around. I was like, there's no evidence that John meddled, but you had the backbone to stop John from Saquon, but you couldn't stop John from Daniel Jones. I don't like that. That doesn't make sense to me. That means you gave the contract and John wasn't there. You gave him that contract after you saw Brandon Beane basically tell Tyrod Taylor, "Thank you for your service. Have a nice day." You didn't try to go get your quarterback either. You called New England. You're like, "Hey, New England, do you want this pick and this pick?" And then, "Oh, you're not gonna say yes? Oh, bye." That's literally what Eric DeCosta, all our Ravens fans, Caleb, all our Ravens fans, friends, all our friends who are Ravens fans, that is literally what they complain about Eric DeCosta. He calls, we're interested, but he doesn't get the deal done.
Hey, at least you guys are interested. We're not even interested in doing anything.
No, but here's the thing too. But you made the deal for Brian Burns like it was nothing. You're ready to give away a first and a second for him like that? Or a second and a fourth. Boom. You made the deal and you gave him $80 million, but you couldn't trade up to get the third pick from New England? You just called New England like, I have this package. You want this? Oh, you don't want this package? Bye. What? That's not how negotiations work. You call, you badger, you try to make a deal, and you didn't want to make a deal. You didn't. You could have offered your sixth plus a future first, because at the end of the day, Caleb, it doesn't matter about the package. If your player works out, no one cares about what you drafted. Do you know what the Falcons traded for Julio Jones, Caleb? Do you remember? Do you remember? I don't remember either. Who do you think won that trade?
Well,
who traded for Atlanta? It was Atlanta. They traded for Cleveland. Cleveland completely flubbed all their picks.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
but Falcons fans didn't care because they got Julio, and Julio Jones is the greatest wide receiver in Falcons history. He was probably the best receiver of his generation. Him and AJ Green and Antonio Brown. Well, Antonio Brown was there. Yeah, that's true. But Julio, so like Falcons fans don't care about what they traded for Julio Jones. You didn't want any of these QBs. I don't know why. I don't know why. You didn't make an aggressive offer for Drake May because you knew Caleb and Jaden were going to go 1 and 2. You didn't sit there and draft Michael or Bo or JJ. Yeah. So you didn't like them. You thought Malik was better than them, okay? But you weren't aggressive.
Even if he's better than them, you still need somebody. You need a quarterback
better than Daniel Jones.
The fan base hope.
Mm-hmm. That's the thing.
So it doesn't matter that Malik Neighbors is good. Like a quarterback does way more for you.
Mm-hmm.
Just
I'm with you.
Know that you can at least try to build them up and turn them into something.
I'm with you, man. I agree. That's what I'm saying. Joe Shane, David Gettleman has distorted our view of what a good GM is because he was so bad. Even though he drafted some good players, Dexter Lawrence, Andrew Thomas, Saquon. He drafted Saquon. He's a great player. So three hits. Joe Shane, he's doing the bare minimum, and people were like, "Oh, he's doing good." If you think about it, man, let me look at Bobby Okereke was a hit. That was a good free agency signing. He semi-fixed the offensive line. He waited too long with Bobby Johnson because when Evan Neal was in that game against Carolina in Germany, Evan Neal was our best offensive lineman. And that means the coach helped fix him up. Carmen Bercelio and James Ferentz. Kurt Ferentz's son. I think it's James. So they're working and they're fixing. So there's that. You drafted Malik Neighbors, Tyler Nubin, Andrew Phillips, Tyrone Tracy, Theo Johnson, and Darius Masua. They're all contributors this year. Tyrone's our starting running back. Drew Phillips is our starting on nickel. Tyler Nubin's our starting safety, and Malik Neighbors is Malik Neighbors. So you hit on 4 of your 6 picks. Darius Masua, he shows up on occasion. He's a special teamer. Sometimes he plays linebacker. Theo Johnson's our starting tight end. He had a rough game 2 weeks ago, but then he had a good game. Well, 3 weeks ago, then he had a good game 2 weeks ago. The draft before, Tay Banks doesn't look like a good pick. John Michael Schmitz seems like a good pick. Seems like he's solid. Jalen Hyatt is useless because your QBs couldn't get him the ball. Trey Hawkins, you benched him after starting him for 2 weeks. Where the hell is Jordan Riley? Nowhere to be found. Javarius Owens, where he at? He nowhere to be found either. Your first ever draft. You drafted Tibbs. Good pick. Evan Neal,
I mean, I don't know, wasn't great.
It's not a great pick. It's a good pick. When he's on, he's on. You know, he single-handedly beat Washington.
Is it a good pick compared to who we could have got during that, in that top 10?
Who was in that top 10?
No, there was something better.
Edge rushers.
Yeah.
It was literally just Aiden Hutchinson is the only one better than him in that top 10.
That's what I was thinking of.
Yeah, but he was picked number 2.
Oh, he's picked number 2. Okay.
Yeah, Detroit drafted him. He should have went. But Aiden's good. He's good. I like him. You drafted Evan Neal. Everyone was like, this pick's a waste because the way he's not panned out. But now Carmen Braselio's fixing him, so it may pan out, but we'll see. You drafted Wan'Dale Robinson, a 5'8" wide receiver out of Kentucky. Had a great season in the SEC. Had over 90 catches, over 1,000 yards, and he had 7 touchdowns. I'm like, that's a great stat line for a 5'8" wide receiver out of the SEC. But no one wanted him. They wanted George Pickens. They wanted the other SEC kid. And you know what? He's good in the intermediate routes. But people just don't. I think it's a good pick, personally. But some people don't. But let's keep going. Joshua Zudu didn't pan out. Cordell Flott, he's too inconsistent. Daniel Bellinger was great his rookie year, and then they made him an H-back his second year because Darren Waller came in, but now they don't want to give him the job back. I don't understand it. Dane Belton, off and on. He doesn't really start. Micah McFadden, that's a hit compared to what it is. Drafted him in the 5th round, and he's your other starting linebacker. DJ Davis is a good hit. He's a good depth defensive tackle. You drafted him in the 5th round. Good pick. Marcus McCathan, you cut him. Darren Beavers, you cut him. They tore their ACLs, so that's bad for them. But still, it happens. So you have miss, hit, miss. I think with Dane Belton because he hasn't shown much. Daniel Bellinger, I think is a hit, but they need to play him more. Cordell Flott, miss. Zudu, miss. Your first draft, you have a definite one hit. Definite, like that's a hit. 3 definite hits, but 2 of them are hits because you drafted them in the 5th round and they're basically starters. Theory talk. If the Giants kept Saquon, would they be competing in the NFC East even though Jones as a quarterback? No, they're not. No. Wild card, maybe.
If they kept Saquon, well, it depends what they do at quarterback. I mean, that really was. Like if they kept Saquon and got rid of Daniel Jones and got someone else, maybe.
And here's the thing too, like it's kind of a chain reaction, right? Talk about how Saquon walking gave them extra money for Brian Burns. But here's the thing too, Caleb.
But if you have Jones, he's asking with Jones, no, they wouldn't be competing because Jones sucks.
Yeah, and in the year they made the playoffs, they were never contending for the NFC East championship. They were always contending for a wild card spot.
If they had signed Saquon, then they wouldn't have Jones. So,
but here's the two, Caleb. We'll keep talking about Saquon leaving. Saquon leaving. Xavier McKinney left. So he left. And here's the thing too. They leave. And Joe Schoen does the NFL philosophy thing. The 2 positions that are devalued in the NFL is safety and running back. Everyone knows this. And what does Joe Schoen do in the draft the following year? Those 2 players leave. He drafts Tyrone Tracy Jr. and he drafts Tyler Nubin. Boom. He replaces them right away. But the thing is, okay, you got rid of Saquon and Xavier McKinney. You got to get rid of Daniel Jones because no one yells at you for getting rid of the other 2. Meaning you shredded everybody. You shredded the salaries. You starting all over. But you kept Daniel Jones. And now everyone is saying you messed up with Xavier and Saquon. Because if you're going to keep Daniel, you keep them 2 as well. You should have got rid of all 3 of them. If you get rid of all 3 of them, no one says anything about you. But due to the fact that you kept Daniel, you get a bigger microscope is on you for the other two moves. But now it's over. I don't have to talk about Daniel Jones anymore. It's over. We're moving on. So let's move on. You know, that's what I'm doing. I'm done talking about Daniel Jones. He's not my quarterback anymore. I don't care. No, you know, nobody, you know, we can talk about who failed who, whatever. He failed them. They failed him. Everyone failed. Everyone failed. Daniel Jones failed, but so did the New York Giants organization. They failed as well. All of them. You know, people be like, who's the fault? All of them. They're all to blame. It's John's fault, David Gettleman's fault, Daniel Jones's fault, the offensive coordinator, the offensive line, it's all their faults. So now let's move on. Go get your quarterback in the draft. You have 3 of them. Take one of the 3. So let's go. Daniel Jones is gone. The New York Giants suck. What's new? Nothing. Let's talk about the other team that sucks. Monday night, Texans, Cowboys. Texans beat the Cowboys 34-10, which is great to me because you know why? I guessed the point total to the dot. Yep. I said 44. I did say 44. But I ended up losing my pool, so it didn't matter. Yeah. That's all it is what it is. But yeah, Caleb Cooper Rush, his second start Monday night against CJ Stroud against Houston. Tell me how bad your team is.
Well, he went from 40 yards to 300, something like 50 yards or something like that.
Yeah, 352.
So he threw for 300 more yards this time, which is at least better to watch, I guess. But it was very similar to the Eagles game. Like we're playing good defense in the first half, and then just the non-existent offense, giving the ball back to the team all the time. It's gonna wear it, and then the other team starts getting it going because CJ Stroud really didn't. He was missing a lot of balls in the first half because of what our defense was doing, and then he eventually got going in the second half. But the real problem was we weren't able to stop Joe Mixon. He was gashing us with all kinds of runs, and obviously it's the same whole problem if we can't stop the run, and that definitely was a problem in this game. But yeah, it's just we could have it could have been a game. We have it we take away a 60-something yard field goal because of a penalty, and then we go for it on 4th down, which was a stupid decision. I don't understand the going for it on 4th down when you could get 3 points when our team can't score. Like, why do you think our offense is going to execute a 4th down play? We're not. We can't execute crap. But yet you think we're going to convert this 4th down? Like, that's so dumb. Like, just take the points when we can get because we can't score any goddamn points. So if we have 3 points right there, just take them. And if we do that, we make it a one-score game at that point. Well, it's like 13-17 at that time. It's down 4 points. And even if it could have been even closer, if Aubrey doesn't slip on the field goal that he missed, it could have been 17-16. So it really could have been a lot closer than it looked. And then, yeah, we just let it get away from us in the second half like we did in the previous game. That's why the 2 games were very similar in that. But yeah, it was a more bad offense. But it's just we're a passing team with a backup quarterback, and we're letting our backup quarterback throw 50 times. That's gonna be a disaster, as you saw in the game. Did not work for us. We can't score. We can't convert. We can't really do anything. A lot of it was we get Kamati Turpin on a great slant play, and he runs for like a huge touchdown, and we haven't. I don't understand why he's not doing that more. He can. The one thing he's good at is running away from guys, and we don't give him that type of route ever. Like that's like the second slant route he's done. But then we don't go back to it. We don't go back to Kamati Turpin at all. Even though that's the one big, huge play that we got, and that got the touchdown, we don't go back to it. So I just don't understand the thinking, and I don't understand what we're doing on offense. I haven't really understood what we've been doing on offense. It's just the game plan sucks. The play calling sucks. The whole offense just sucks. And like I said, it just really shows you what kind of talent and what kind of all the problems that we're having on offense. You can see why Dak was struggling this season. Like it was just him just playing bad. Like it was because the whole offense sucked. Like nobody was doing good. The offensive line is really bad. The receivers aren't doing their jobs, and then the coaches aren't getting us prepared. So you could say, like, if you want to put it on Dak for struggling in the early part of the season, I mean, look what was around him. Like nothing was working, nothing was functioning. So so it's just been bad all around, and the defense just keeps having the same injury. Obviously, it's injuries and problems, and it's just we can't stop the run. And then oh my God, did Mozzie get just blown off a ball? One of Mexican's big runs that he had. I think it was a touchdown run.
Apparently, Caleb, y'all can't stop the run unless the team running the ball is the New York Giants. Apparently. Oh, yeah. That's how you know this New York Giants.
I think that was the one good Mozzie Smith game.
That was literally the one good game you guys stopped the run. The New York Giants on Thursday night.
Yeah.
The New York Giants, the only team that everyone knows that the Cowboys can't stop the run, they couldn't run the ball. How? I don't even understand.
Yeah. It's going to be a bad Thanksgiving game.
No, man. Both the teams suck, man.
Yeah.
They just suck.
They do.
Like, so the college football playoff. You think Indiana deserves it? I think Indiana deserves it. Undefeated.
They haven't played nobody.
Yeah, so a lot of these teams on the bracket haven't played nobody.
Like who?
Man, who's Notre Dame played?
I mean, I don't know.
Thank you, man. Like, who's Texas played?
I mean, you gotta give us a break on that one. I mean, it's not like we played the national champion Michigan. We beat them. I mean, it's not our fault that they're not as good as they were, but we did play them. We played the national champions.
But it's college football, man. College football, teams ain't the same. Okay. Like people talk about how Colorado beat TCU last year, the national team runner-ups. That wasn't the same team. And you still let them drop 35 on you. So it's not the same. It's not the same, bro. It's not the same. That's what I'm saying. My thing is this, bro. My thing is this, man. I feel sorry for BYU. Because BYU loses. I know it was to Kansas and they were 3-6, but they're not a 3-6 team. Kansas is a pretty good team.
Beat Kansas, I mean.
Well, UNLV is a good team.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
Yeah, UNLV is a good team. BYU, I think them falling that far was a little egregious. Because you know why? Because if you compare losses to them to Notre Dame, well, I believe Notre Dame is what, like 6th in the poll? They lost to Northern Illinois.
They did do that.
And people forget about that.
That was what.
Like people forget about them losing to Northern Illinois. You know what I mean? I think the only team that deserves to be in the playoff really is Oregon. Because they have a good schedule. They beat a lot of good teams. They beat Wisconsin at Wisconsin.
Well, there's 12 teams. I mean, the other teams got to be in the playoff to have a playoff.
Yeah, college football playoff. Because I'll talk about anything else but my New York Giants. I swear to God. Okay, here's the bracket. This is from an hour ago on NCAA. Here's the bracket. Oregon, the highest rated team and conference champion. Because they're in the Big Ten. Texas is the 2nd seed. They're the 3rd ranked team in the nation because they're the second highest ranked conference champion. They're predicting them to win the SEC. That can change. That can change. The highest ranked champion from a different conference is Miami at 8. So they're the 3rd seed. And then the 4th highest ranked conference champion from a different conference is Boise State, which makes them the 4th seed. Ohio State is in at 5. Penn State is 6. Indiana is 7. Notre Dame is 8. And Old Miss, and then Alabama is 7, which makes them 9. Old Miss is the 10th seed. Georgia's the 11th. And BYU is the 12th, which because they're the 5th highest ranked conference champion. You know? So because all conference champions they get in, and if you're a group of 5 team, the highest group of 5 champion makes it, which is Boise State. I'm so happy for this because you look at this. No offense, but Penn State don't deserve. Like if you look at Penn State's resume, they don't deserve it.
Well, they got the upcoming games to determine.
Absolutely, man. This week, Indiana, Ohio State. Right there, man. That's going to dictate everything. Because Ohio State beat Penn State handily, like they always do.
Yeah, I mean, Texas will get their big win against Texas A&M, which will that's another a deserving win against Texas. I was talking about Texas against Texas A&M.
Oh, they're getting. The rivalry's back, baby. Y'all playing in November?
So that shows us a good win there, but if we beat them, and also obviously the conference championship.
Yes, which is going to be Georgia. It's going to be Georgia. It's either Georgia or South Carolina. If South Carolina beats a couple teams and Georgia loses to a couple teams, it's probably going to be Georgia. So Texas, Georgia, it knocks somebody out. You know what I mean? Maybe, maybe not. We'll see about that. But I just enjoy. Here's the thing, Caleb. Old Miss has to go play at Indiana. Indiana in December. Georgia has to go to Penn State. Imagine Happy Valley with a playoff atmosphere. The last time a SEC team tried to do that, Auburn got beat down, really. And then Alabama has to go to South Bend. All the SEC teams on the road. It's going to be good, man. It's going to be good. Because people talk about the weather, it's not about the weather, man. It's the atmosphere. It's a new atmosphere, new environment. And we're still talking about college kids. The SEC drinks their own Kool-Aid. Oh, it means more. Oh, we play in front of raucous crowds all the time. Stuff like that. Yeah, it's cool and all. But this is a raucous crowd that you don't know. You're not familiar with. You don't know how they operate. And it's going to be good, man. And this is Curt Cignetti. All he does is win. Google me. He said, Google me. And you Google him. You know what he does, Caleb? All he does is win. That's all he do. And you know what, man? Indiana's a problem, bro. Hey, if Ohio State's not careful, they may lose this week. I think Ohio State eventually wins because they're just too stacked. They're wide receivers. They're 2 running backs. Walker Howard, they're a stacked team. I kind of still don't trust Walker Howard because, it's Walker Howard. I remember watching him at Kansas State. I like this game, but, still there's the chance of craziness. But, I can't wait, man. I can't wait. Is the Ohio State game on the road or are they going to Ohio State?
I do not know.
Let me check. Are they playing at Indiana? Oh, no. Indiana's playing at the Horseshoe. Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh. Yeah, that may be a loss for Indiana. But here's the thing. Indiana loses. How far do you drop them?
Far.
What do you mean? What do you mean far?
They didn't play nobody. And then you realize that when they get beat down by an actual team that they don't deserve it to be up there high.
But Penn State's the exact same team.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Penn State can get a good win.
Against who?
Who they got after Minnesota?
Maryland?
Yeah.
No, okay, let me tell you Penn State's schedule. Let me tell you Penn State's schedule. Let me tell you, big dog. All right.
They beat Illinois. It's not a bad one.
They beat West Virginia. They beat Bowling Green. They beat Kent State. They beat Illinois.
It's a good win.
They beat UCLA. They barely beat USC. They beat Wisconsin. And they lost Ohio State. They beat Washington. They beat Purdue. This is the exact same schedule as Indiana, bro. Look at Indiana, bro. Indiana football. Look at, I'm gonna tell you right now, bro. It's the exact same schedule, really. Literally, bro. Like, let me tell you, bro. Let me show you. All right. Trying to find. Okay.
No, that's not the exact same schedule at all.
FIU, Western
Illinois, Charlotte's. Like, come on. That's nowhere near the same schedule.
Bro,
those three teams alone.
Bro, their non-conference is Bowling Green and Kent State.
Oh, okay. That's right.
Bro, like, get out of here. You act like they did something special or something.
So it's a good program over in Bowling Green.
Like, come on, bro. Stop playing with me, bro. Like, come on, man.
Well, Western Illinois.
Kent State. We're going to talk about Kent State doesn't even have a logo when I'm looking at the schedule. There's no logo. They took the logo off.
Charlotte.
That's fine. Charlotte. What's the difference between Kent State and Charlotte and Bowling Green? Kent State hasn't won a game this year, Caleb. They haven't won a game. A single game. They're winless. Kent State, Caleb, lost to St. Francis, PA. They lost to a Division I AA team, bro.
Well, you just got. I mean, it's just Penn State. I mean, they have better players.
So it's the eye test, basically. You're assuming that, though. You're assuming that.
I mean, you don't have to assume. You can go by the recruiting. You go by a lot of different metrics of that they have the better players.
If they had better players, why didn't they try to beat Ohio State? Why haven't they beaten Ohio State in years?
Because Ohio State is good. Because they have better players.
Yeah, remember you act like the players are that separate. I'm just saying, man. They better not screw over Indiana. If it's a close game against Ohio State, don't screw them over.
Close game, then okay.
Yeah.
You can keep on. They get blown out, then no. Yeah, push them back.
All right, whatever, man. I'll say this, man. SMU, man, if they win out, they're going to be probably either the second highest ranked champion or the third highest ranked champion. So they're going to get a bye. Because all they need to do is win out, and they beat Miami in the ACC championship game. They'll skyrocket. SMU, them and Kevin Jennings, literally, man. And same thing with the Big 12, which is BYU, right? They're the Big 12. They're the alleged Big 12 champion. If Colorado wins out, Colorado's in the college football playoff. So there are teams that are not on this bracket that may be in this bracket by the end of the season. You know? So there's that, right? You know, there's a bunch, bro. And then it's not so none of this is written in pen. There's all it's all pencil. There's all pencil, man. So there it is. So it's gonna be good, bro. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be a great, great college football year. I think Oregon takes it though.
No.
Nah, I think Oregon takes it, man.
No, I don't think so.
Well, you're a homer.
So were you?
A little bit. It'll be funny if it's Oregon, Miami in the final. That'd be hilarious.
Why would that be hilarious?
Because Miami's head coach was Oregon's former head coach.
I don't find that humor.
That means the reason you won't find him is that means Miami beat Texas.
Yeah, I don't know what's funny about that.
It's like a rematch of the Cotton Bowl where Miami had like over 300 yards of penalties, but they were still beating you 20-0. You remember that game? You remember that game? Oh no, you weren't alive for that game.
Neither were you.
The Rock played in that game. Dwayne Johnson? He played in that game. Or did he? I don't know. All right. It's time to go. Caleb, where can people find you, man?
We're not doing it again. Why do you always skip the preview?
Why do we need to preview this?
Our we got to preview Tommy Cutlets.
No, we don't.
Yes,
we don't need to preview Tommy's stupid sandwich.
We have to preview Tommy Cutlets.
You know, actually, I finally had a chicken cutlet from a sandwich spot in San Francisco. It was pretty good, man. That chicken cutlet they made was pretty damn good. I'm not gonna say their name because you know, no free promotion. We don't do that over here. You know, but it was a good sandwich, man. Shout out to that sandwich spot in SF.
You gotta give your thoughts on how well you think he's gonna do.
I don't want him to do well.
What if he's the future?
Future of what?
The New York Giants.
Okay, now you playing in my face. Stop playing me, dog.
What?
Stop playing
me. You don't know?
He could have gotten better. Me, bro.
He could have gotten better.
He could have gotten better. That's the thing that comes out your mouth. He could have gotten better. If he does,
Josh Allen got better, so why can't Tommy Cutlets get better?
Did you just compare Tommy Cutlets to Josh Allen? Is that what we're doing right now? Josh Allen at least had tools. The man had a gun.
Won 3 games last year.
Yeah, I know. And it cost me Drake May and Jaden Daniels. I remember that.
Can still have Bo Nix.
Yeah. All right, who are we against? I don't even know who we're against. The Saints, I think. I think we're against the Saints.
The Buccaneers.
Oh, the Buccaneers. Hope the
Bucks win. Game right there. You guys can upset the Buccaneers.
Is it because the Bucks don't have an offense in a sense?
Yeah, I mean they're pretty bad right now.
Yeah, well, Chris Godwin's out for the season. Mike Evans is still out. Yeah. We may win that game. We may not.
And well, what happens if Tommy DeVito does do well in this game?
Doesn't or does? Does or doesn't?
Does.
Like what? Like he goes for like 25 for 32 and 3 touchdowns and like 300 yards. Is that what we're saying?
Yeah.
That means Daniel Jones was the problem. Like that's what that means.
Well, we already know he was the problem.
Yeah. Well, you know. Fuck it, we ball, I guess.
Yeah. You guys have a chance to make playoffs.
Yeah, because we remember we had the conversation about, the number one, the tanking, like you could there's a chance of you even messing up a pick.
And you'd rather see your team win because it's more fun.
Yeah.
Than just saying you want your team to lose to tank.
Yeah, because you want the highest possible pick to get the more options. But I understand.
But you rooting for your team to lose or win has no effect on whether they're going to actually lose or win.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. All right, I'm rooting for them to win. Shout out to the Giants. So who's Dallas against?
We're against the Commanders, the Commies.
So the Commanders are going to win.
Yeah, they're going to win.
Yeah.
By a lot.
Well, I don't know about that. Their defense isn't as good as people think it is.
Quinn coming back.
So he's going to try to rip your guy's head off.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you got Dorrance Armstrong and Dante Fowler and Tyler Biadasz all looking for revenge.
That's true. There's a lot of Cowboys. How mad were you guys when they left to the Commanders?
The not Tyler Biadasz because I didn't think I'm very happy with Cooper Beebe. But yeah, Dorrance. It wasn't the fact that they left; it was the fact that we didn't replace them. Like we can get guys that are, the caliber of Dorrance Armstrong and Dante Fowler. They're good pass rushers, but they're still, rotational guys. We just didn't replace them. That's what made me mad, that we didn't do anything in the offseason to make this team better. We got worse and we didn't make it better. That's where the anger comes from, not from that we needed those specific guys.
You just never brought in replacements.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a good point. So score.
Probably similar, like 35-10 again.
Okay. Go 28-10.
I mean, we can't score. I mean, it's just we can't score any points.
Yeah, 28-7.
I mean, if we could play good defense, maybe it's a closer game. Against them. Jaden Daniels has kind of been working through an injury. He hasn't been running as much.
His ribs are hurt. Yeah, he hurt his ribs.
So if we can contain him like that, they get run on. Maybe we can get our run game going somehow, some way.
Yeah, maybe.
But other than that, it's just if it's like the last 2 games, then it's going to be complete blowout.
All right. Giants gonna go 24-14 Buccaneers.
No, I'm saying the upset is gonna be 23-16.
23-16.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought you said 20-3, and I was like, what?
23-16.
Crazy. 23-16.
Tommy Cutlets with the upset.
All right. What's the line? 3.5?
Let me check right now. Let's see. The Giants, New York. No, Giants are getting 5.
I would take that. No, actually, no, I'll just take the Buccaneers outright. Sorry.
Well, yeah, you would take because they're favored. Of course, you're going to take them outright.
Well, no, I'm not going to take the points because I think that if we
there
lose,
is no taking points. They're giving points.
So you're giving the 5.
You're giving the 5.
Okay, no, okay, so it's -5
for the Buccaneers. Yeah, Buccaneers.
So it's +5 Giants.
Yes.
So I can't take the +5.
You didn't pick the Giants. You picked the Bucks.
Okay, so I can't. Okay, so I got to pick the Bucks outright. Got it.
No, you don't pick the Bucks outright. You pick them -5.
No, they're going to beat them by more than 5.
Okay, so that's why you would say -5.
Yes.
Yeah.
So instead of taking,
so you're laying the 5 points because you're.
Yeah, I'm laying the 5 points. I'm not taking the 5 because even I don't believe the Giants will still lose by less than 5 because you know what I mean. I think if they do lose, they're going to be losing by more than 5. So don't take the 5.
Yeah,
it's a bad bet.
You're laying the points with the Bucks.
Yes. Still don't understand betting, but it is what it is. One day I'll get it. One day. But on that day, everyone, speaking of betting, Caleb, where can people find you, man?
On Betting the NFL on Wednesday nights at 8:00, with my co-host D Weezy, just trying to make you guys money. I've been on a hot streak, so if you haven't been tuning in recent weeks, you have been missing out on some prime picks that I've been laying out there. I've been 8-2 in the last 2 weeks, so on fire.
All right, guys. My name is Ferris Muthana. You can find me at Ferris Muthana on X, Twitter, whatever the hell you want to call it. I'll call it Twitter. _Ferris_Muthana on Instagram. I'll probably start doing a little more on Instagram maybe one day. Here every Friday. Show up also on our entertainment channel. On Rewatchers Council. So there's that as well. I'm just around. I'm around. But on that note, everyone, thank you guys so much for joining us. Have a wonderful day, and we'll see you guys next week. Peace.